From the perspective of a provider, there seems to be a tendency to focus primarily on teaching. While most of us have spent our lives as consumers of education, the focus has often been on testing and evaluating how well we have been taught. The aspect of nurturing, which emphasizes growth and how much one has developed compared to their past self, seems to be missing. While mastering what one has learned can be seen as a form of growth, the direction of education appears to prioritize assessing how well the taught content has been retained, rather than fostering personal growth itself. The terms teacher and educator may share similar meanings, but they represent different concepts. Let's think about the origin of the word from the Latin. The root of the word education comes from educere, which means to draw out potential from within. It's worth reconsidering whether education has truly fulfilled this purpose. As mentioned earlier, education has primarily evaluated how well students have absorbed what they were taught, raising doubts about its connection to unlocking their potential. This implies that modern education has leaned closer to training than to the true essence of education. Historically, education was a privilege, much like many conveniences we take for granted today. Before the establishment of public education systems, especially in feudal societies, nobles employed private tutors or scholars for their personal education. The spread of education to the masses as part of modernization is something to be deeply grateful for. The fact that people today can receive a substantial level of education if resources allow is a significant achievement. After all, the odds of being born into the top 1% aristocracy of the past were extremely slim. With the advent of the Industrial Revolution, standardized education emerged alongside mass and group education. The purpose was to quickly prepare skilled workers for industries. In this process, the provider's goals were prioritized, and the role of students was merely to acquire the skills taught to them. However, despite 200 years of progress, today's education system still seems tied to those industrial-era ideals. Despite numerous studies and policies aimed at reform, the reality of education remains largely unchanged. This outdated approach has left many scarred during their childhood and adolescence, as they fell behind or felt alienated. These memories often shape their entire lives. Some develop an obsession with recognition, while others reject the joy of learning about the world's diverse knowledge and principles. Wouldn't they have been happier if the focus had been on their growth and discovering their potential, rather than on evaluations? In today's advanced world, education should prioritize the growth and potential of its students. Education extends its influence beyond itself, impacting families, societies, nations, and the world. Factors like household income, family harmony, and societal atmosphere vary depending on the role of education systems in public education. The impact of education is far greater than its perceived importance. While we've lived in ways we deemed right and desirable, crises around the world seem to have increased. Despite material abundance, people's minds and spirits often feel impoverished. Though solutions are discussed globally, the root of these solutions seems to lie in education. For this reason, as always, the role and responsibility of educators are immense.